Good morning, everyone. Y'all ready to get started? Ready to get this show on the road? All righty. Well, welcome to a beautiful, warm morning in November. It's nice to see so many excited faces here. I can assure you that when the plant's done in about 2 years, give or take, it's going to smell like money because of the return on investment for this plant. This day is somewhat historical. This is 20 years in the making, if not more than that. First, let me say thank you to all the elected officials here. Y'all are very, very busy, and thank you for coming out of your way. Chairman Mixon is here from District 1. Vice Chair Boyles from District 3. We have all five county commissioners are here today. Commissioner Goodwin from District 4, Commissioner Ponder, he's here somewhere, from District 5, and Commissioner Ketchel from District 2. Thank you all for being here. We also have Mr. Hofstad, County Administrator, Deputy County Administrators Craig Coffey and Sheila Fitzgerald. Sorry, they have been a major role in this project, them three. From City Crestview, we have Councilman Doug Capps and City Manager Tim Balduck. Thank you guys for joining us. The City Crestview has been involved in this project as well on the planning. From DEP, we have the Northwest District Director Elizabeth Orr Mullins. Thank you so much for joining us, and the whole DEP team is here. DEP has had a huge part of this project. And then we have Carrie Pitzer from Representative Dr. Rudman's office this morning. Thank you so much for being here. Where did Carrie go? Thank you again. This project is a huge part because of a $7 million state appropriation. So please pass our thanks along to him as well. He was a sponsor of that appropriation. And then also we have, I cannot not mention Nathan Sparks from the EDC. Nathan has been working on this for years. Thank you, Nathan. We appreciate you being here this morning. Brief history on this. This is not just groundbreaking for the plant, but in some ways it's groundbreaking for the Shoal River Ranch. We've had a relatively small sewer plant for decades back at the airport, and that plant really just served the airport for a long time. Back in 2008, that was the first new subdivision on public sewer. It seems like we've been here for a long time, but really it's not that long. 2008, it was Dugan Pond. That was the first new subdivision on county sewer. And so since then, there have been more and more added to the system. There's been lots of planning done and lots of big decisions and big investments made, and the system has grown, the flow has grown, and now we're looking at a tremendous amount of growth in the future. And so that has led to this moment, to this plant. I'd also say, going back 21 years ago, Jeff Luttrell and Jeff Oglesby, who are not with us anymore, they acquired this property, 165 acres then, and that's a large part of here's because of them, for their investment back in those days. And then the commissioners 4 years ago purchased 1,000 acres, and that's a huge credit to them for their vision. So without further ado, we have three main speakers for you this morning. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them all now, and then we'll pass the baton. Mr. Mike Hackett's our Water and Sewer Director, and under his leadership over this past year, the project has been finalized. The actual design, all the permitting's been done, the procurement's been done, and now it's the fun part, the construction. So Mike has been an incredible leader, breath of fresh air. Great to have him here. Mike will be our first speaker, and then Chairman Mixon will go next. Our chairman, it's his district. He cares very much for the community. I see that in getting to know him over the years, and this is part of that long-term responsible planning and growth for the future. And so thank you for being here as well and for speaking. And then Commissioner Boyles, what can we say about you? 12-year. It was going so perfect, wasn't it?
And then you mentioned me.
Commissioner Boyles has had vision for years, and he's seen this. Sometimes county staff needs a little encouragement occasionally, and by that I mean tough, lively, firm conversations. And I'll never forget one conversation with him when he said, "Just dream with me. Quit thinking about money and all the details and the mechanics, dream. So we did that. We went home and we started dreaming about sewer plants. But for real, that was a very crucial conversation in this, and a great vision, great encouragement. And we went back and we didn't just go straight to the plant. We went back and we saw, is there a need there? We started looking at the numbers and saw there very much was a need for this plant. So without further ado, Mr. Hackett.
Thank you, Mark. Mark's been our resident guru on this. I can't say we'd even be at this point if it hadn't been for his expertise and effort. Great job, Mark. Thank you. Well, good morning. I'm Mike Hackett, Director for Okaloosa County Water and Sewer. I want to thank all of y'all for being here today to help us celebrate this kickoff. We're very excited about this special project and what it means for the county. It is a $41 million project, and I'm happy to report that $35 million of that is being funded by grant and appropriation sources. So that's wonderful news. Great way to start a project. The initial phase, as you can see on the diagrams, if they don't blow over anymore, J&P Construction is going to be helping us with that. It will be built to handle 1.25 million gallons per day initially. As time goes on, we can expand it up to 10 million gallons a day. Fortunately, we have a 20-acre site and other land available that makes that possible for us to build rapid infiltration basins to be able to handle up to 10 million gallons a day. That's a significant number, and it really sets Okaloosa County in the right place for development in the future. One thing about that is by having that ability to expand built in the future expansions will be at a much lower cost per gallon. And that's good for development because it means capacity expansion charges will be lower for developers to be able to be on public sewer and be less reliant on septic systems. So it's a real boon in that regard. The plant will treat wastewater in the county sewer service area east of Shoal River, but it will have the ability in the future, if needed, to be able to reduce demand on existing systems to the west of Shoal River. So that's a plus as well. It utilizes, if you look, the two tanks there, that's part of what we call the Bardenfo process. It's a advanced biological. I think y'all got to look. Yeah, you can look after the meeting. But it's a very advanced system, particularly related to treating nitrogen and phosphorus removal. So that's very good to have. Environmentally speaking, this project is a benefit both on the water and the wastewater side. On the wastewater side, of course, we'll be able to have more access to public sewer, which means future development will be less reliant on septic systems, so that's good. On the water side, the plant will be able to produce reclaimed water, which means that in the future, irrigation and future industry processes that require water will have less demand on our drinking water system. So it's good in both regards. This project's been a long time in the making, but and a lot of work has gone into it. I really appreciate the board's support and their vision to help make this possible for this day to happen. So thank you very much. I'd also like to thank some of our other partners who were so influential in this. Matthew Kalia and his FDEP team on the $7 million grant appropriation process, as well as his help on us attaining a $16 million SRRWRF loan. Deputy Administrator Craig Coffey and the board for $12.5 million for ARPA funding and $16 million on Restore. Jane Evans, who is with our grants department, much thanks to her for all her hard work, as well as the purchasing department, growth management, A lot of people did a lot of work to make this happen, so thank you all. And lastly, I'd like to thank our in-house staff. They've done a lot of work on sub-projects that saved the county a lot of money if we had had to contract it out. So we're very fortunate to have that ability to do a lot of this work in-house and to save that money for our ratepayers. So anyone that I miss, I apologize. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate you being here and helping us support this. Commissioner Boyles? Or Mr. Chairman, sorry.
Well, good morning. Thank you both. Glad you're here. It's a little warm. It's got a good breeze to it, though, so glad you're here. As Okaloosa County continues to grow, we have to be mindful of the impact that our population has on different infrastructures. Water and sewer, definitely the public sewer system, is an infrastructure that we must be mindful of. With this benefit coming, the board recognized the need in growth through the sound advice of the professionals in water and sewer, the hard work that Mark and Mike have put into this and the others on their team. But with this project, it allows really a creation of the environment to attract businesses to come. Behind us, we have the sign for the first business that's in the works of coming here. Nathan Sparks, to your left, doing a diligent job with One Okaloosa EDC in attracting businesses to come to be able to build out this potential gigasite. This is the first major construction site here. I know some of us had hoped that there would be another start well before this one, but we're in the process of seeing them come as the market allows, and that will be in the near future, the hope is. But this postures the Shoal River Industrial Park to become a leader, creating new jobs in Northwest Florida. This plant serves as key to unlocking the door to responsible growth in North Okaloosa County. The plant has the capacity to take on, these are some of the numbers a couple of you that have called and asked questions about. Don't worry, that was a friendly drone and that is friendly fire across the street. And so, some of you asked questions about numbers. I want to give those to you. The plant has the capacity to take on about 5,000 additional equivalent residential units, which means we should be in good shape for the long term in this area of the county as we continue in growth. One important feature is that this plant is able to expand in the future. That's been touched on briefly, but I want you to know, for the potential purposes, if the conversation continues and looks better in partnerships with the city of Crestview, this gives us an opportunity to continue moving in those directions, potentially becoming a regional plant. I would like to, since in those statements I may have caused stress on a couple of your lives, and I'm not looking at you right now intentionally, Mark and Mike, but with that, I want to say a thank you to all the levels of government that have worked together on this. Between the federal government with ARPA and U.S. Treasury funds from Restore Pot 1, the state government with the state appropriation that Dr. Rudman carried on the House side, the opportunity that we see in the state revolving fund, the permits that have gone well, this is going to be a great benefit to the community, a great benefit to our county. But I have to finish with one final thank you. Over the last 12 years, Commissioner Boyles has served as county commissioner for the other side of the north end. It's okay that he lives in the second best district, but we allow him to our side sometimes. And he has this idea, and maybe it came from growing up in the area, maybe it came from having a bachelor's degree in environmental engineering, but whatever it is, it's given him an opportunity to have vision to see what we could be. And so starting back 12 years ago, allowing this to take on as a feat to be reckoned with from my colleague, Commissioner Boyles, who's seen many changes over the last 12 years. But this project specifically, it's a culmination of his vision and of his resolve. And so I see it very fitting for Commissioner Boyles to come and speak to us about the things of today.
Well, I certainly appreciate the kind words today. knew I was speaking, and I started to sit down this weekend and write up some nice words, and then I thought, hell, I'm out of here on Monday. Like, what are they going to do, fire me? So I'm just going to shoot from the hip and see how this goes. No, I think I would put this in, first off, thanks for everybody that came out today. Quite frankly, there should be a lot more folks out here today for the number of folks that ultimately this project is going to positively benefit. Many of them will never know it. They'll never know the hard work that went into it by a lot of the folks that are sitting here today, the team at Water and Sewer, but all the other partners that are out there. And so, we're doing this for a lot of folks who aren't here, and I think that's something to be proud of. But I would put this project kind of in a broad context for Okaloosa County. And so we know as decision makers and leaders that as a community we're going to grow, and in fact we know it's necessary to grow. It's the old adage, you're either growing or you're dying, right? And so we know that that's coming, and we know that there's a lot of pressure associated with that, and we know that there's a good way to do it, or the right way, or a better way, and we know that there's the less good way to do it, the bad way to do it. And so as challenging as some of the rhetoric can be sometimes about those processes and the associated growing pains, for me this project is really much more emblematic about a county, a city, a community that is doing their dead level best to plan, to make difficult decisions, and to guide growth in a way that's most beneficial to our community, so that we can look back in 10, 20, 30 years and be in a place where we still want to live, where our kids may want to live, and then be able to look back at the decisions that guided that at the end of the day. And so at the end of the day, this, we could just talk about this as a sewer plant, right? It's just where our wastewater goes after we flush the toilet, but it's much more than that. It is significant vision, quite frankly, for the leaders in the county, for my fellow county commissioners. It's risk. We're spending a lot of money out here, a lot of public resource, and we don't have to do it. This project could simply just not be happening. And quite frankly, if you look at counties in many other places, they're not biting the bullet. They're not doing the difficult work of getting ahead of growth, of guiding that growth in the right directions through the use of positive and productive tools like the implementation of infrastructure. And so, if you came in today from the west, you probably saw construction on the north side of the highway. That's a function of this facility at the end of the day. And I don't think that's a bad thing. There are other parts in our county where that type of growth may be less appropriate in the future. And so the commission right now has been doing the hard work of conducting that planning. And my fellow commissioners are left, me and Commissioner Ponder excluded, but the three in the front are going to have some tough decisions ahead of them coming out of that process. But this right here is really, we were already doing it, right? By making decisions about infrastructure like this, by putting it in the right places, by finding the places that might be the wrong place to put that infrastructure, is really, I think, what leadership is about at the end of the day. And so I'm excited. Again, it's at the end of the day, it's nothing more than processing what comes out of, when we flush our toilets, but it is so critically important. And that's the thing that government does, and that's where the real leadership comes in, and those are the decisions that actually will matter long term. It's not the resolutions and the fun feel good stuff. It's things just like this. And so I'm proud of it for our county. I appreciate everybody's hard work, and I look forward to doing something other than being a commissioner as I sit back and watch this thing come to completion. So maybe I'll get an invite to a ribbon cut in a couple of years. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all so much. We appreciate it. Just a couple housekeeping things. We're about to have our picture here in a few minutes. After that, there is some waters and cake. And then the sewer plant is actually about a mile that way. So if you'd like to go on a tour, we're going to have some commuter vans, and you're welcome to jump in a commuter van, and we'll drive the bus down there and show you what the site looks like if you would like to go. Also, I'm an engineer. I've skipped something. I want to thank Ardura, Jeff Brown, Poly Engineering, and Jenkins Engineering. These engineers have worked their butts off the last 2 years for this project, and we're here in large part to them. So thank you guys so much for all your work. So, all right, if you're an elected official, a senior county official, come on up.